Today, we are lucky to have Kenny Beecham, aka King of the Fourth Quarter, YouTube sensation with over 1 million subscribers across his channel, new host of the talk show called Game, and of course, host of the Through the Wire podcast on the House of Highlights platform. Unfortunately, a Chicago Bulls fan, which I think, through association now means that we have some sort of beef. Yes. But Kenny, welcome to the Long Shot Pod, man. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you, man. Pretty long resume. I mean, it's not to compare to you guys, but pretty long resume. I appreciate that. But I will say during that finals run, I was rooting for you guys 100%. I have got rid of my Miami Heat hate once LeBron left. So, I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
I appreciate that, man. Way to try to salvage that a little bit. So Kenny, of course we're gonna talk some hoops, we're gonna talk some video games, but because of the nature of this podcast, very much highlighting people's stories and their come ups. Quickly, first, we want to talk about your story and really how you first got into creating content, posting content, and how that ultimately turned into what it is today, which is now you have this real voice in the basketball community. So if you can, just start off by just giving us a little insight into that come up and how it kind of all came about.
Yeah, so it started very young. I was 13 years old, and for my birthday, no, it was for Christmas, I asked my dad to get me this thing named a Dazzle. He's like, what the hell is a Dazzle? It was this thing that was used to record like your Xbox gameplay, PlayStation gameplay. He had no idea what I was trying to get into, but throughout my entire life, my dad has always been super supportive. So for that Christmas, he spent the $200. That was my only gift. I was like, okay, cool. So I started creating content basically with two other friends. They dropped out really, really quick. They found out that YouTube was not for them because the first 2 to 3 years, we're getting like 3 to 4 views, and it's each other. You know what I'm saying? It's just each other's watching each other's videos. So I think I hit my break. I did a video that was like, it was one of those BuzzFeed quizzes, which is weird to say, but it was my big break because I had to guess the NBA logo that was right. It had like one Photoshop thing wrong, like just one little thing. And that video blew up to like 2 million views. And I was like, okay, oh crap, I got to capitalize on this. So I continued to create content, and here we are today. It's a very lame story now that I say it out loud. I wish it was some twists and turns that was like I had to overcome some great adversity, but it's really nothing like that.
But I mean, there is some of that in there, in that, for example, you try to compare it to maybe an athletic career, and you can start to, with athletics, maybe start to feel that you're gaining momentum and picking up steam. With your case and like internet today, it seems like, I know it's so much more than just that one viral moment, but like in terms of getting on the map, that is very much like you do need that point, that inflection point of like, damn, this is actually, we're going from, like you said, 3 to 4 views to like, all right, we can work this into something. So how do you maintain that, like, all right, this is what I want to do. I want to keep doing this, pushing through those moments where it's like 3 to 4 views, no one's really checking in. And how do you like maintain the mental to like stay pushing through that?
I think it's just because I fell in love with content creation, like just coming down at this point, like coming down to my room when I was still living with my parents and writing down video ideas that I haven't seen someone do on YouTube before, whether it be 2K related or just basketball in general. And I fell in love with the process. And through that, I think it was like my sophomore year of college before all of that ended. And I got to this moment that was like, I changed my mindset that if I can get people to click the video, I know that the personality, the editing, and all of that to get them to stay. So it's just like, how do I turn my ideas into a good thumbnail, into a good title? And I think that's been the big process as a YouTuber, because I feel like there's so many people out there that like to create content, but they can't get the thumbnails right. They can't get the title right, but they have the personality to do it on the internet.
Right. Yeah. When I look through your content, obviously, I mean, that's one of the things that jumps out is like every single video is something that you would want to click on. And I think also hearing you talk about, like, it also comes from, I imagine, like, you have to have this deep rooted belief that you're capable of entertaining. you know, and that you're capable, you have an ability, a talent that people want to tune into. And I don't know, I can only imagine there are times when the clicks aren't lining up like you want them to, especially early on, where it's like, do you have moments where you question that? Or is it just like, nah, like I know what I am, I know what I bring to the table. It's only a matter of time.
So the way I kind of did it was, it wasn't a full-time job until it was good enough to pay my bills, right? So until that point, I didn't really care about the clicks. It was back to the content creation thing. But then when it became a real job, I was like, oh, I really have to go through these analytics. I really have to try to figure out, how do I continue to keep my lights on and then eventually build something bigger? And that's kind of the way I transitioned from the YouTube stuff to working with like Bleacher Report, House of Highlights, and then transitioning from that to like doing this independent project. It's just like trying to take those independent steps. And if we're putting it on the sports thing, it's like going from playing high school ball to getting the first scholarship and turning that scholarship to a G League opportunity and turning that G League opportunity to getting the roster spot. Just keep trying to build up and up. And it's been working so far. So far, we've been good.
Man, I guess so. Tell us a little bit about the new thing you're started called Game. And I think I'm going to be on it here soon, so stay tuned for that.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I called my guys Cody and Cole up one day. It was like, I just want to, like I said, I'm a content creator, right? And some of the other adventures I've been a part of don't really allow me to do everything that I want, like visually, you know, because it is like these bigger companies, they got to get verification from somebody else and they got to get verification. So it's like, I just want to start my own thing. You know, I want to start my own thing. I feel like there is this gray area between like what you guys can get as a podcast out of Andre Iguodala versus what the overall media can get out of Andre Iguodala. And I want to try to build this bridge where people don't see me as media, but see me as just like one of the guys at the end of the day, right? Because the way I always think about it, like we've had a few people on the show, which is really cool. And one of the guys is like, man, you look like me. You know what I'm saying? You look like me. You're young like me. I'd rather talk to you than to talk to the 60-year-old beat writer. So I want to be able to have people express their personalities, because before you were on JJ's podcast, Duncan, I didn't know who you were as a person, right? And I feel like there's so many players out there that don't have the platform or don't really do these type of interviews to allow their personalities to really be out there. So I just want to be that guy. I just want to talk to people at the end of the day. I just want to appreciate basketball for what it is. And I feel like a lot of people in the sports world try to nitpick players, nitpick teams. And it's just not, at the end of the day, that's not fun to me. That's not fun to me. So when I watch teams play, somebody misses a shot, I'm not going onto Twitter like, man, he got to hit that. I'm like, he got it next time. He'll get it next time.
I like that, man. I will say that's a refreshing mix-up from normal pundits of today, especially with social media. You know, everybody's got an opinion. In terms of the players that you have on, is it more so that you want to showcase them, their personality? Is it insights into their game? Is it kind of a combination of everything? Or like, what can people really expect when they're tuning into your show called Game?
It's a combination of everything, right? I mean, you've been in a Heat or locker room for a few years now. I'm sure you have tons and tons of stories that maybe you haven't been able to tell across other platforms. So we're going to do that. I think it's just a combination of a lot of different things. And at the end of the day, I just want it to be a dialogue between me and this player. And I also want to learn, right? I can only see the game from a perspective as a fan. Like when you watch a game, it's probably a lot different than me as a fan. So I also want to learn more about basketball, learn these people, and just have fun.
I want to get to 2K, Kenny, because I took some time to look at some ratings, and it's amazing. It seems like there's some things that are very off, in my opinion. Definitely. I'm curious if you see the same thing, and how you deal with some of that when because a lot of what you're doing is like constructing these teams, right? Trying to win championships. It's almost like you're working in a different stratosphere.
It is not. I always say it's not the actual NBA. It's a company's depiction of the NBA. There's so many things that are wrong with it. Like I even went back, Duncan, I went to look at your rookie season or 2K's version of your rookie season.
I was the worst player in the NBA.
You're the worst player in the entire game.
Yep.
In the entire game. And your 3-point 100%. Rating was like a 65. Like, did you watch any college film? Did you go over G League stats? Like, how's he a 65-3? It doesn't make sense.
Well, it's also like if I'm a 65-3, why am I in the game at all? Like I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be in the game if I was a 65-3. But yeah, keep going, man. Don't get me started. Trust me, I know I was the worst player that year. Plenty of people have let me know that. But go ahead.
It's just overall bad. Like, I use it as a platform because it's the NBA. But I wish there were other competitors, because right now they kind of have like this monopoly on the NBA world. But like, trading for you, Duncan, in the game, it doesn't, your value in 2K is way less than your value in real life.
That's good for you though, right?
Right. It is. But like, even when we get to like things outside of the team building, like there's a mode named My Team where you can construct your own version. You know, you have Allen Iverson and Dwayne Wade on the same team, but like they'll drop a card for you like Duncan, and it just won't hit the same. Because right. They always have every other player in this mode specifically have an amazing 3-point rating. So there's no reason for like a specialist like you or like JJ or like Seth Curry to even exist, because they have Yao Ming shooting threes and he's hitting them.
Right. Are there players that you love watching like night to night in the NBA, but you can't stand playing with?
I would say I'm on a Heat podcast basically, but Jimmy Butler, especially from previous years, they had Jimmy Butler as an absolute bum. Like you said, I'm a Bulls fan, so I used to run with the Bulls when it was him, Derrick Rose, and a bunch of other players, and it just wasn't fun. They had him like couldn't score the ball, and you know Jimmy Butler's one of his best things is his drawing foul ability. In 2K, he can't draw fouls. He'll shoot 2 free throws the whole game, and that's not the Jimmy Butler me and you know. So he's just one of those players. I just want him to be great, and they just don't allow him to do that.
That's kind of the interesting thing with 2K, right? In that you can't like realistically simulate everything. And you know, Coach Spo says all the time, there's no way to measure Jimmy's like will to win. And that's so much of like what he brings on a night to night basis and what makes him valuable. So like, you're right. There's no way to capture that. They can give him a high rating, but they can't actually make it so he does the things that he does night in and night out in a video game. So I totally, trust me, I have my own frustrations with 2K. I think that there are a variety of like just shortcomings, I guess. Mm-hmm. I used to play the game all the time. It's actually funny now that I'm in the NBA and in the game. Right. I like never play it anymore. And some people play it all the time still. Like guys love playing and playing with themselves or whatever. But I can't seem to do it. I like whenever I like miss a shot, I'm like, no way, man. Like I would have made that, and I turn it off. You know, I'm just like stubborn like that.
Dunk, you've got 95 intangibles, so I don't know. I'd slow your roll on the whole you can't measure the will to win. 95 intangibles seems pretty good to me.
But Kenny, so this is my question though. Like, are they doing this type of research, or is it just arbitrary? Like, because I feel like if your job is to depict an accurate simulation of the NBA, how are things like this getting missed? You know what I mean? Or overlooked? Like why isn't it even more accurate than it already is?
So they tell you that there's a proprietary formula that they use that they can't tell me. They won't tell me the actual formula to how they get these ratings, which basically tell me it's probably just a guy. It's just a guy, because it doesn't make sense, right? So they have the overall ratings that we talk about, but they also have this thing named tendencies, right? So it tells you how likely Duncan Robinson is to attempt a 3 versus to try to dunk on someone. And then when you get into those are even worse than what we're talking about today.
2021 is looking up, people. New beginnings mean new opportunities to grow your business. If part of your strategy is adding new members to your team, don't look any further than LinkedIn Jobs. Find the right person quickly. To make things better, your first job post is free. On us, Dave. On us.
On us. Well, I don't think that's true. It's on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is an active community of professionals with more than 722 million members, 722 million worldwide.
I'm one of those active members, mind you. I think you are too.
I absolutely am. And getting started is easier than ever, with new features to help you find qualified candidates quickly. Post a job with targeted screening questions, and LinkedIn will quickly get your role in front of more qualified candidates, which is what everybody wants.
Plus, you can also manage job posts and contact candidates from a single view, as functions are streamlined onto one simple screen. And the best part? Now you can do all of this from your mobile device. No matter where the day takes you, you can do it all right there on your phone. That's how LinkedIn Jobs can help you hire the right person faster. So when your business is ready to make that next hire, find the right person with LinkedIn Jobs. And don't forget, you can post a job for free. Just visit linkedin.com/longshot. Again, that's linkedin.com/longshot. All you got to do is put that in, and the first job you post is free on us. Terms and conditions, of course, do apply. Davis, of course, we all shop online. And whenever it's time to check out, we've all seen that promo code field taunt us at checkout. But thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes, it's a thing of the past. Honey is the free browser extension that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds right to your cart. Honey supports over 30,000 stores online. They range from sites that have tech and gaming products to popular fashion brands and even food delivery.
Yeah, it's great. And here's how it works. Let me break it down for you, Dunk. Imagine you're shopping on one of your favorite sites. When you check out, the Honey button drops down, and all you have to do is click Apply Coupons.
That's it?
That's it. You'll wait a few seconds, treat it as an opportunity to take a few deep breaths, as Honey searches for coupons it can find for that site. If Honey finds a working coupon, you'll watch prices drop. I'll tell you what, I just bought a whole mess of t-shirts the other day, and Honey saved me $20. It was actually really easy.
20 large ones, huh?
Yeah.
You'll love to see it, man. That's big time stuff. I hear it's just not complicated at all. And Honey has found it's over 17 million members, over 2 billion. That's billion with a B, Davis.
Whoa.
Billion with a B. Dollars in savings. So look, if you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out on free savings. It's literally free, and it installs in a few seconds. By getting it, you'd be doing yourself a solid, and you'd be supporting this podcast in the process. So what are you waiting for? Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/longshot. All one word, people. That's joinhoney.com/longshot.
All right, one more rating I have to mention this one just because it's my favorite. Duncan, your blocking is a 50, which is the same as Michael Jordan's. Michael Jordan, 97 overall, throwback MJ, 50 blocking. So what the game is saying is that you have the same probability of blocking a shot as Michael Jordan, which massive compliment.
Seems fair.
That just seems incredibly disrespectful to Michael Jordan. Yeah, I mean, that alone should be the headline of why 2K is just not accurate, that I would have the same likelihood of blocking a shot than Michael Jordan. But nonetheless, I mean, I will say I don't actually do all like the my team stuff. When I do play, it's usually I just like play against one of my boys or something like that. Where do you see, and maybe you have some particular insight into this, I don't know, where do you see the game going in terms of, or where would you recommend? Like, what is there still to tap into? What are opportunities maybe that they could even, use to continue to improve? Because, it really is, for me, like sometimes on the outside, and I'm not like an avid user of the game, it just feels like the same game year after year with updated rankings and this and that, and maybe some like new rookies and some new players. Where personally for you as somebody who's on the game all the time and plays a lot and understands it, where do you see it going?
I would love for it to get to the point where they bring in some of the voices in the community. And this is not a campaign for me to get this job, but get some people in the community that play the game outside of the developers to try to really make it. So they advertise it as a sim game, which is supposed to be the realest version of basketball. But like we said, there are a lot of faulty things within the game. I don't know if they'll ever do this because I have personally been campaigning for this for a few years now. But I think that's the best way to get a great product if we continue to put some of the people that have there are people out there with hundreds of hours played on this game, and I would trust their opinion over some of the developers who honestly it's just like a side job for some of them.
Right. I mean, I know you said that wasn't a campaign, but it certainly was a strong one.
Yeah, I'd vote for you.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Kenny, I got one more question. This is something that we try to ask all of our guests, and this is going back to more so your career trajectory and kind of your story. If there was a specific moment or an experience in your career that you felt was a particular point of inflection or a moment that had the biggest impact in terms of, whether it be growing belief or perspective in that, wow, this YouTube thing, this is really what I want to pursue, or just media content in general. Is there a moment that sticks out to you? I know you referenced earlier the Christmas where your dad, bought you, I can't remember what it was called. But are there other moments like that stick out to you?
I think I'm going to transition to the media portion. When House of Highlights answered the call, I was like, this is it. This is what we're doing, because we know the internet is, people have their moments, right? 2 years, it seems like the lifespan of an internet entertainer, right? So for me and my guys to get a place like Bleach Report / House of Highlights to take a shot on us, we were like, okay, we can actually do this. And the story goes for that, I basically found the email address of the general manager of House of Highlights, and I was like, I have a podcast. Here are some numbers. We're going from an audio podcast to a visual podcast, and I would love for you guys to be a part of it. And we had some dialogue for a little bit, and we hopped on the call. And shout out to Doug. He's the greatest. He is the greatest ever. He was like, yeah, we can have you on the team. We did like a 3-month thing. And we were like, I was talking to my guys, like, in these 3 months, you guys better study the hell out of this basketball thing, because this is our chance to go. That 3 months turned into 6 months. That 6 months turned into a 2-year contract. And here we are today.
You talked earlier about how you feel like your story is a boring one. You wish there was more adversity, but it's just a bunch of you betting on yourself, right? Like you sending that email, you deciding that, okay, this YouTube thing, I'm going to go for it. Right. It's just a lot of betting on yourself. And I think that in itself is very admirable. And, like you talked about, I'm sure it's draining, right? Like to be a content creator, you are constantly on the clock of competing with everyone else who's putting out content and trying to remain relevant and remain on top. And that there's a lot of adversity in that. So I just want to clarify that, your story is certainly not a boring one.
Thank you.
Before you go, I got to ask you about Like Mike, because last week I referenced.
I heard that. Yeah.
Did you? Because yes, yeah. I referenced Like Mike. By the way, the first one's an iconic movie.
Amazing.
I referenced that the second one was a little bit of a letdown, and I saw some comments that I had to talk to you about this. So what are your thoughts on 1 and 2?
1 is my favorite basketball movie of all time.
Oh,
the fact that it had so many appearances from players I watched growing up. The Dirk scene when he's in the tunnel and Dirk asked for an autograph for his sister, but it happened to be named Dirk. Yeah. It's just amazing. And Bow Wow did an amazing job. So that is my favorite basketball movie of all time. There's so many nostalgic memories related to it. I recently saw part 2, maybe 2 to 3 weeks ago. And yeah, it doesn't make it. It's just not good. It's just not good. So in the first one, he goes from orphan to the NBA, which makes sense. It's Michael Jordan, right? But this new guy, he became a street ball player with Michael Jordan shoes. And Michael Jordan wasn't crossing people up on the floor like Allen Iverson. So it didn't make sense. It just didn't.
I'm glad that we're on the same page here. See, I thought there was going to be a point of contention. I thought we were going to have to argue about Like Mike 2.
But you know what? I enjoyed it, but it was nothing compared to the first one. There were moments in it that I had fun with.
All right. Yeah, that's fair enough.
All right, Kenny, man. Well, we really appreciate you taking the time. We know you got plenty on your plate. Be sure to check out his new show called Game. And Kenny, king of the fourth quarter, man. Appreciate you.
I'm gonna say before I leave, I'm a Michigan guy this season. My guy Mike Smith plays for y'all, so I'm rooting for him.
Hey, Mike Smith. I'm a big fan of Mike Smith, man. Michigan's got it rolling, man.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Natty champs coming up.
Hope so. Well, I appreciate y'all having me. It was a blast. And Duncan, I'll talk to you very, very soon, my guy.
Very soon. Looking forward to it, Kenny.
All right.
Love it.
See
Take
you,
care.
David.